Longer waterway thousands of kilometers away make petrol and diesel more expensive in India. Well, that's the question many are asking after US President Donald Trump proposed that the United States secure the Strait of Hormuz and impose a 20% toll on commercial cargo ships passing through it. While the proposal hasn't been implemented and faces legal challenges, it has once again highlighted how global conflicts can directly impact India's economy. So why is the Strait of Hormuz important? Firstly, let us understand about it. Well, the Strait of Hormuz is a narrow sea passage between Iran and Oman that connects the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea, and it is one of the world's busiest energy corridors, with nearly 21 million barrels of crude oil passing through it every day. Around one-fifth of global oil consumption, and major oil producers like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar and the UAE depend on this route in order to export oil to the nations including India, China, Japan and South Korea. And any disruption here immediately affects global oil markets. So why is it always in the news? Well, the strait has been a geopolitical flashpoint for decades, and during the Iran-Iraq war in the 1980s, both the nations targeted oil tankers, turning the region into a conflict zone, and since then, rising tensions between Iran and the US have repeatedly sparked fears that shipping through the strait could be disrupted. Even the possibility of conflict often pushes crude oil prices higher. Well, what triggered the latest crisis? Notably, the situation has worsened sharply in 2026 following fresh US and Israel strikes on Iran, and in response, Iran launched attacks on commercial shipping near the Strait of Hormuz. And one of the most serious incidents involved two UAE oil tankers, Mombasa and Al-Bayya, which were hit by Iranian missiles in the Omani waters. Notably, the attack killed one Indian crew member and injured several others, raising fresh concerns over the safety of commercial shipping in the region. So what is Donald Trump's proposal? Amid the escalating conflict, Donald Trump proposed that the US should protect ships passing through the strait and charge a 20% security toll on commercial cargo vessels. And according to Donald Trump, nations benefiting from American naval protection should help pay for maintaining security in the region. However, international maritime law does not clearly allow a nation to impose mandatory tolls on ships using an international strait. And experts believe that the proposal would face major legal and diplomatic hurdles before it could ever be enforced. So why does this even matter to India? Notably, India imports more than 85% of its crude oil, and although purchases from Russia have increased, a large share of India's oil and LNG still comes from the Gulf nations, whose exports pass through the Strait of Hormuz. And if shipping costs rise because of a toll, military tensions or higher insurance premiums, that is, India's oil import bill could also increase. And the bigger concern isn't just the proposed toll, and whenever tensions rise in the Gulf, freight charges, war risk insurance and crude oil prices usually increase, making imports more expensive. And how could it affect you? Higher crude oil prices eventually translate into higher fuel costs. Petrol, diesel, LPG cylinders and aviation fuel could all become more expensive, and costlier fuel also increases transportation cost, which can push up the prices of groceries, vegetables and other everyday essentials. And over the time, this can increase inflation and put additional pressure on the India's economy. So Donald Trump's proposed 20% Strait of Hormuz toll remains only a proposal, and there is no certainty that it will be implemented. However, the discussion highlights the strategic significance of this narrow waterway. And for India, the bigger issue is the continuing instability in the Gulf. And as long as tensions remain high, rising oil prices, shipping costs and insurance premiums could eventually affect millions of Indian households through higher fuel prices and increased living costs. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.